Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
Welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for a radio audience tuning in at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all could be with us. Also, tuning in to our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. We're glad you all could be with us as well. We're excited to welcome author Leah Johnson to our broadcast today. She's celebrating her brand new book, ELLIE ENGLE Saves Herself. I want to talk to Leah not only about the writing of the book, but also what it's been like for her to take this journey along with Ellie, and now to be able to share her with all of us. Leah, thank you again for the time. Really do appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
This book is a lot of fun, and I think one of the big things that I thought about was an interesting comparison for you, Leah, was Ellie being able to embrace her own power. What has it been like for you as a storyteller, Leah, to be able to embrace your power and to share it with the rest of us?
Oh, I love that question. I think every book that I write becomes more honest and even closer to me expressing all the parts of my truth that I was so scared of growing up. And so that is a type of everyday heroism that I hope I was able to illustrate in the book.
Yeah. And I love the fact, too, with Ellie, and we see her kind of go through a transformation, but I love the fact, though, Leah, that for her, it's not about being perfect. It's not about being everything to everyone. It really is about coming into her own. What was it like for you to kind of create this character and kind of take us through her, the hijinks of her life?
Well, it was so much fun. It was so much fun to be able to write about middle schoolers because middle school is such a chaotic, hilarious time that I felt right at home again. But I will also say, it was really healing for me to be able to write the kind of character that I wish I'd been able to read when I was Ellie's age.
Oh, wow. And I love the fact, too, that she does not take this journey by herself. She has friends there with her that try to protect her, to be there to support her. Why was that important for you to share, especially for this age group, Leah, the importance of not feeling as though you're alone in the world?
Yeah, to be in middle school is such a scary, strange time that I remember feeling so lonely and isolated always because I was like, nobody could possibly feel as scared or as awkward as I do. And what made me feel more at home in my own body was just having people around me who were as weird and as goofy as I was. I think having those kind of friendships is exactly what you have to have in middle school to survive.
Yeah. I want to talk about the title of the book, ELLIE ENGLE Saves Herself. Of course, the world is on the cover, then it's scratched out with herself. I love this idea of starting with yourself. I think especially for young people, it's so, I think, obvious that sometimes they think so much bigger than themselves. Why was it important for you to make sure that Ellie knew that she was worth being able to be saved as well?
Yeah, I think so much of what happens with young people is we look to them to be the bigger, brighter future, and that's so much pressure for them to carry to save our world for us, right? And so one of the things that I wanted to remind young people is that, sure, you should want to do great things, you should want to help your community and your world, but also you can be foolish and flawed and free and save yourself first.
Yeah. I love that. Did you go into this book kind of knowing where the story would take you, Leah, or was part of the experience for you kind of taking the journey along with Ellie?
Yeah, I knew that I wanted to write a superhero origin story that felt like the Babysitter's Club, had the same type of energy. And so I had a really clear idea of what that would look like. It took us a couple drafts to get there. It took us a little while to figure out exactly how that was going to look, but in the end, it came together so naturally that I couldn't have hoped for a better story.
Yeah, it really is a great story. I don't want to spoil anything for those who haven't read it. We're going to let them know here in a bit how they can be able to stay connected with you, Leah. But do you feel like we'll see more of Ellie?
We absolutely will see more of Ellie. The sequel is called Bree Boyd is a Legend, and it is coming out next year, and it takes one of the side characters in Ellie's story and makes her a hero in her own right. And so we'll be seeing Ellie and her friends very soon.
Love it. Last thing I want to talk to you about, Leah, and it's a timely thing for the world we live in today, and I'm curious as to if this was a blessing for you to have it be so, or maybe not so, and that is the way that the news is reported, the way that things are seen in the world. You've been able to balance that with Ellie. Ellie experiences the not so nice side of being in the public, so to speak. What has that been like for you to address for young people when it comes to social media, the news, and kind of how they're impacted by it?
Right. I grew up online. I was very online as a kid. And even so, I can't possibly wrap my mind around what it must be like to have your entire brain rewired by having TikTok in your back pocket, right? And so because being seen, being visible is such a huge part of what it means to be a young person today, I felt like we have to, if we're going to tell honest stories about growing up, we have to talk about how scary it is to know that your image is sometimes outside of your control.
Yeah. One of the most powerful things in the book for me, and I wanted to read this, Lee, if you don't mind, and this is Ellie kind of coming to grips with being accepted as she is. And, she's talking about what people say about her, and she says they don't just think I shouldn't have these powers. They think I shouldn't even exist. And then you have, through her voice, I try to be as grown up as I can. I try to help my mom by not complaining, but I'm not a grown-up. I'm a kid. How can people say a kid shouldn't exist? I wanted to share that because the power of words. I began this conversation asking you about embracing your own power. What do you want young people to know about the words that they speak and the words that they receive for themselves?
So I'm a member of the LGBTQIA community. I have known that for a really long time. And I think sometimes what happens for young people is that the adults around you try to tell you who you are and expect you to believe that about yourself. And sometimes, most times, you know yourself better than anybody else could possibly know you. So find what words you need to use to describe yourself. Find what images you need to influence the way you think about yourself. Find the community that makes you feel the most whole, and really cling to those things, because there's going to be a lot of people in this world who try to tell you who you are, and you don't have to believe them.
Yeah. Powerful words, and a great book as well, Leah. Congratulations again. Again, everyone, Leah Johnson has been our guest. Ellie Engle Saves Herself is a new book that's out now. You can get it through our friends at Amazon.com or through your favorite local bookstore. If they don't have it, I know they'd be more than happy to order it for you. And, Leah, how can our audience stay connected with you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at BY by Leah Johnson, or at my website, byleahjohnson.com.
Awesome. Leah, thank you again for spending some time with us, and looking forward to chatting with you again.
Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.